So this is going out on my Facebook page. So this is going to all the people on there. You know, they're going to get the little notification that we are live with you, which is going to be pretty cool. So, yeah, folks, I'm here with Miche Braden, and I am so excited to do this. I've been looking forward to having you on this show.
Thank you.
And it just worked out. Thank you for doing this. I know that we got the tour, tonight.
Yeah, got a show tonight.
So we're going to do a lot of singing today. But I appreciate it. And I saw a lot of you this weekend. You came over for Thanksgiving.
That was great. That was so good.
So we had the whole cast over for the whole PMJ tour casts. You guys were staying here in Studio City,
right?
So we just had everybody over to PMJ Manor for Thanksgiving. That was like a first too. Having the whole cast over for like a Thanksgiving dinner. And
well, I tell you, I stretched my cooking skills, which I don't have.
No, you made some amazing stuff.
Yeah, but I had my sister's recipes, and she knows how to explain it to me.
Okay.
So it was good.
That's good. Yeah, well, you got to have a good sister for that.
Oh, Deb Mex is the best.
Yeah. Nice. How have you been enjoying the tour?
I am actually enjoying it now.
Yeah, she says actually.
No, bus, Lord
well, I know
mercy.
the bus is hard. The bus is tough.
Ooh, especially for the senior citizen of the group.
Yeah. So if you were going to explain, like, sleeping on a tour bus, what's it like? Because a lot of people always ask us, what is a bus like? What's the bus like?
We have a 15-bunk bus with a little front area that can kind of expand when we're sitting still. And thank God everybody loves each other. There would be no way in the world we could get along, all 15 of us plus the driver. But it is wonderful because everybody in the cast has brought their A game. They are singing. They are so talented. And when we do the show, it's like the first time every time.
Yeah, well, I noticed, especially with this tour, I mean, when I invited everybody to Thanksgiving, I was thinking in the back of my mind, like, maybe, they've been on a bus together for a month and a half. Maybe they don't want to hang out with each other. But everybody gets along. Everybody is so cool.
Everybody
the nicest people, the most talented people. And, I mean, it's just been a joy just like working with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Coming out to visit the show and stuff. And we rocked it last night.
Oh, yes, we did.
That was amazing.
Yes, we did.
So, yeah. So I want to back things up. So for those of you that are tuning in and haven't gotten to hear Miche Braden sing yet, well, you're going to hear that in just a second. But just to give you a little bit of backstory of how I met Miche. Miche is one of the, in addition to being an incredibly accomplished stage performer and singing on Motown records, she also was one of the very first Postmodern Jukebox singers, even before it was Postmodern Jukebox. And so we met because of Bioshock Infinite.
Yes.
You sang on a track with me there. And I remember when Jim Bonney, who was the audio supervisor, had sent me, he's like, I found a singer that's going to sing Tainted Love with you. And then I listened to you sing, and you're doing the Bessie Smith thing from your show. Yeah. And I was just blown away. I was like, whoa, I've never worked with a singer like this.
Oh.
And
I love it.
Yeah, I'm going to say all these compliments. And then when we recorded that, I mean, I had my little arrangement that I made, like just on piano, and then you were in the vocal booth, and then hearing you sing over it. And that was like a light bulb moment for me. Because I never worked with a singer that had that kind of power in her voice and just made you kind of feel things. So at that time I thought of myself as just a pianist, but then when I heard you sing over that, I was like, this could be a thing.
Yeah,
this is what my music needs.
And it was great to
vocals.
To have that kind of arrangement for a song like Tainted Love, and then I'm putting my Bessie on there.
Yeah,
it just seemed to work. It just really worked.
That was, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, did you ever think, like, even the video game industry, did you think that would be something that you would do?
I wanted to do everything. I'm not one to say no to too many things. But I was so honored to be asked, and then for it to work the way it did coming through that gramophone.
I know. Yeah, that was cool.
That was
cool. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of my first gigs.
Oh,
that was
wow.
like my first, I had maybe like a couple of videos on YouTube at that time when they found me. So, for me, that was great. It was a huge deal for me to be asked to be an arranger on that game. So that was definitely awesome. Yeah. But we should do that song. We should do the song Tainted Love, just like we did in Bioshock.
Oh, now I need my words.
You need your words?
Okay. You can't surprise me like that without my words now.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Yeah, it's been a second. Well, we can pull up some words.
Okay.
Maybe if you...
just pull them up
on a phone. And
I remember the melody.
I mean, I would just listen to that. Like, honestly, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, we'll get some lyrics. I'm thinking, I think we did in G.
Yeah,
that was your
and
key.
you hit that. Yeah, well, you had hit that just a moment ago, so I picked it up. So.
Oh, okay. All right. You're fast.
Yeah.
So I think the last time we performed this, we did this at my book show.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get. Yeah, we'll get lyrics up here.
All right. And you know that is too small. Come on now. You fix that now. Good gracious.
I should have prepared. I should have prepared a whiteboard.
Oh, it's all
That
right.
would've been-
Yeah,
would've been a
it's
thing.
all right. You know,
I
but
totally
they
just,
like this kind of
I
stuff.
just
you
totally
know.
threw Mickey under. Yeah, this is.
They threw me under the
Yeah,
bus.
threw her under the bus. This is live. It's live. It's what happens on Scottcast.
And see, I dressed up for you and everything.
Yeah. Seriously, I was saying, you know, like, you put
Hey,
me
well,
to shame. You
you
look
at
great.
home, so you could do that. But see,
This is true.
they
Usually
always-
it's just I wear just like a tracksuit every day. Usually. This is dress up for me. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see if that would be better.
Oh yeah.
There
okay,
we
we're gonna
go.
turn it sideways.
All right, so
Are you?
I haven't watched.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to do that again. We'll do a video of that.
that'd be a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be
So this
fun.
is
Thank
okay.
you.
So we're gonna do Tainted Love, as you would have heard on Bioshock Infinite, with the incredible Miche Braden. Here we go.
Sometimes I feel I got to run away. I got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me. The love we share seems to go nowhere, and I lost my life for a toss and turn. I can't sleep at night. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you give you all a girl could give you. Take my tears and that's not really tainted love. Ooh, tainted love. Now I know I got to, run away. I got to get away. You don't really want any more from me. To make things right, you need someone to hold you tight. And you think love is to pray, but I'm sorry, I don't pray that way. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you giving, I gave you all a girl could give you. Take my tears and that's not nearly all. Tainted love, woo. Tainted love, don't touch me, please. Can't stand the way you tease. I love you though you hurt me so. Now I'm gonna pack my things and go. Tainted love, yeah. Tainted love, touch me, baby. Tainted love.
All right.
Thank you.
Miche
Thanks,
Braden,
Patrick.
everybody. Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, you know, so a picture me, like as, you know, I wasn't a kid, but I was,
Yeah.
I guess a kid compared to now. It was
Yeah.
like 7 years ago or whatever. And, you know, this is the first time, like, hearing somebody sing over my piano like that.
Wow.
So it was a really eye-opening moment. And, yeah, I'm just so grateful that we got to share that experience.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
I am too.
And then
I am
bringing you
too.
on for Sweet Child of Mine, which is still like one of the, it's a lot of people's favorite PMJ video. I mean, that was,
Thank you.
you know, and I think that what makes you so special, in addition to just, you know, such a powerful voice, you connect to the lyrics when you sing. that in a way that I've never heard anybody else do. You know, the way that you connect and make people feel the lyrics of a song.
But that's the way I was raised. If you're going to sing a song, you got to live the song. And if you're not living the song, you're not giving yourself in the song to the people that are listening. If I'm going to sing it, there is something in my life that I can reflect to while I'm singing it. And that's the only way I can do it. You know, just to sing a song to sound pretty, put a bunch of riffs on it, it doesn't do anything. You know, it's a way, as soon as you sing it, it's just cast away in the wind.
Right. Yeah, as opposed to what you do, which is really, you know, kind of digging in your own life, I guess. And you got so many life experiences that
my
can kind
goodness.
of pull from. So let's go back to how you learned music, because you came from a musical family.
Yeah, my mother's musical director at the church, Dr. Mildred Doby. My father directed the choir. My grandmother was a singer, contralto, one of the soloists in around the city of Detroit.
Wow.
My uncle plays bass. He's in my show, The Devil's Music.
Yeah.
And when he was a teenager at Northwestern High School, he used to babysit me so that he could use my mama's piano for his band rehearsals.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And who's in the band? Kurt Lightsey, Charles McPherson, Barry Harris,
Really?
Harry
They were all
Whitaker.
just over at the house?
They were all at the house, and I'm like a baby. I'm like a toddler. But I'm hearing all this music. And it was just like a natural fit for me to go into jazz, even though I was exposed to spirituals, gospel, classical, you name it. You know, it was just music. Whatever my mama liked, I think she did it on purpose, really, because she let me do anything I wanted to do musically.
Yeah.
You know, playing instruments, dancing. I had my own singing groups. And she also coached the Andantes, who were the background singers for Motown.
Wow. Okay. So you had all that at your house.
Yes.
I was like, wow.
Yes.
I mean, that's the best education that anybody could ever have.
Yeah, to live it.
Yeah. And I know that you studied with the Funk Brothers.
Yes. Those are my
taught you.
daddies.
Yeah.
They
That's awesome.
they taught me to arrange. Earl Van Dyke told me when I met him, he said, okay, you can sing with us, but you got to write all the charts. You got to write all the arrangements.
Wow.
You can't be putting a bunch of repeats in there because we old and we don't feel like looking for the return. And next thing I knew, I was writing big band arrangements, orchestrations. I always did vocal arrangements. You know, so that was the best teaching in Detroit, the people that I studied with there.
Yeah.
That's
amazing. I mean, it's really amazing. And you think of how people associate learning, you know, especially in music. There's a tendency that people will think like, oh, I'm just going to go to school for this or something like that. But, you know, there's lots of ways to learn something.
Many.
And some ways are better than others. And I think that, being forced to do something, I always find that when it's like, okay, I've got to learn how to do this on the spot. I got a deadline. I got to make this happen. That's a great motivator.
Yes,
so,
it is.
I'd imagine that's what it was with you at arranging, right? Because
It was. I found
arranging
a book.
is not natural for most singers.
No.
Yeah.
Well, if they think and they know how to do harmony for everything else, they could do harmony for instruments. But the thing was, it was the transposition. I had to learn to transpose. I found a book that had all of the transposing for every instrument, you know, and even the crazy clef signs, the C clef.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I learned all of that and from a book, you know, because I knew the music. I can hear the music, but just not really studying it in school, being tested on it, you know.
Yeah.
My test was putting it in front of the Funk Brothers or any of the other musicians I was working with and hearing it. And I said, okay, this is what, okay, that's not working. Okay, this works. Okay, let me just tweak this a little.
So then you developed, I mean, that develops your ear as
Yes.
well, you know, for all that stuff. Yeah, I think that's so crucial. And, you know, I know a lot of people that watch are always, you know, musicians themselves, and they're always interested. I'm always fascinated by how people that are like a master at something, how they learn, what kind of steps they went through.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think you had such an amazing route of learning, not just, you know, to be a singer, but to be a musician. You know?
Yeah. I don't think, well, my mother told me that her mother prayed for a musical child because my grandmother was a contralto.
Yeah.
A very classic sounding, Marian Anderson type of classic singer. And she wanted someone that could play piano for her in her keys. Okay. And my mother, her firstborn, was born. My mother did the same thing when she was pregnant with me. Said, I want a child that's going to love music like I loved it. And I came out there doing everything.
Wow.
So it was, unfortunately it stopped with me to a degree because I didn't have any kids and my dogs can't play piano.
I know, I've seen some YouTube videos of dogs playing piano.
It's
possible. But wow. So then how did you make the leap from like learning all that stuff to then just being out and performing and getting to the stage particularly? Because you did, the Devil's Music. That's your show, Bessie Smith.
The Life and Blues
Life and Blues of Bessie Smith. And you did it for 17 years, right?
Actually, next year will be 20.
20 years. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. When I moved to New York, I was already in my mid-30s, and I met a director who I was referred to by Laney Robertson that wrote Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. I did that with him. We worked so well together. He said, well, what else you want to do? And I said, well, I've always wanted to play Bessie Smith. We were going to get together and write it, but we couldn't do it. So he hired a playwright. We met for 2 years. I did all the arrangements. Yeah. Even wrote 3 songs. Joe wrote one with me, Joe Brancato. Angelo Pera wrote the script, and I did all the arrangements. And in 2000, we did our first performance at the Penguin up in Stony Point, New York. And we've been traveling all over, doing it for almost 20 years. It's been licensed out now, so if there's some great singers, blues, that want to try their hand at acting, this ain't the play. You got to find something easy, then come to this one.
No, it's true. I mean, if you look up any of the clips of her as Bessie Smith, like look it up online. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal, just the way that...
But it's out there now. There have been a couple great actresses like Zonia Love Johnson that has played her. I don't remember which theater it was, but this piece is out there. And I wanted to play her raw. I didn't want to play a whitewash version of Bessie Smith. Yeah. So this one is raw.
This is legit.
This is legit.
And what kind of did you do also a lot of research in?
Yeah, I did.
She has such an interesting life too.
Well,
interesting character.
She was a party girl like Billie Holiday.
Right.
And the thing with me that made it live for me is that the life that she lived, I lived as an entertainer out in Detroit. I hate to say it, all the parties and everything else that goes on sometimes in the entertainment world. And it lived for me, like I was saying with singing songs. And when I get up there, I may not have done the show in 2 years, but all the dialogue comes right back.
Wow.
The whole concept, the everything. Joe Brancato is one of the best directors I've ever worked with. Yeah. Even in directing my own troops, I learned from him. He's got a piece off Broadway now called Daniel's Husband, which is absolutely fabulous. But he is like the best. And so I've worked with best in theater, best in music, best in arranging, and it all I just soaked it in like a sponge.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's awesome. And was it easy to go from singing to acting? Did you find it pretty natural?
No, because singing to me was acting. It just was speaking with a melody. So it wasn't hard at all.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, why don't we do something? Maybe we'll do St. Louis Blues.
Ooh,
do something.
Okay.
Now you say, what was the tempo you do it at?
Oh,
we do it. If you want to count it off. I know you do it slow.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, about that. When you see me, baby, when this
Yeah, Mickey. That was amazing. That was awesome. Woo! Miche Braden singing St. Louis Blues. I don't think there's anything better than that.
Thank you.
That's incredible. So, yeah, what's been your experience like on tour? This is probably a different thing because you're used to doing shows in one theater.
Yeah, I go to one place and we stay there for about 6 weeks or so.
Cool.
And do a show. And that's kind of easy. Yeah. Except for the fact you're rehearsing 8 hours a day until the tech week, and then you're doing 10 out of 12s for 3 or 4 days. Yeah. To get the lights right and get all that. But this is get up there, get to the place, find a shower, get the sound check, go. I take my pajamas into the dressing room because once the show is over, I put them on and I'm back on the bus in my bunk.
Wow.
I can't go partying. But just to be able to know your limits. Yeah. That's the thing.
Well, it's definitely difficult in the sense of, it's easy to get sick on the road too. And if you're a vocalist, like your voice is your instrument. So that's definitely a tough thing. And I think that there's something that is inherently punk rock about a PMJ tour. Like we're always. We're making up a lot of the rules as we go along.
Well, I'm not going to say punk rock because we would totally have torn up the bus by now.
That's
every
true.
hotel
That's true.
that we've been in.
Yeah, I guess I don't really want a punk rock tour. That would be a problem. But there's there's an energy that,
There is an energy.
All the different personalities together. I mean, having Casey MC the show, and...
he is just too much. I love him.
He's all right,
Well, Steve Whipple, he's from Japan.
Yeah, Steve Whipple's our bass player on tour.
And he and I could speak a little Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'll say some things. He's looking at me. Something crazy. Hey, Whipple, oki sugimasu.
Really? Well, yeah, because you lived in Japan for a while.
Well, I worked in Japan every year for about 11 years.
Yeah, tell that story. Tell that because I think that's so interesting.
Oh man,
what you did over
I
there.
started out in the hostess clubs, a place called Baby Grand, and I played piano and I had a singer who's right now, that particular singer, Kimberly Davis, is singing with Chic. She's one of the singers there with Nile Rodgers. But and also Robert Evans went with me the second time. Then a good friend of mine, Masa, came to church. She said, "Why don't you come to Japan with me?" And I did 3-week tours with her. The first 2 were 3-month tours, and I do 3 weeks with her every year. And then she said, "Oh, you direct choirs. We have gospel interest So she would create a gospel choir for me to teach, and they would sing background for me.
That's awesome.
And the concerts.
Yeah.
We did Natural Woman.
Wow.
We did Oh Happy Day with a Japanese verse. And we did many different things. And they even did one of my originals called I Am.
Nice.
And it was just, I just fell in love with Japan.
That's awesome. Yeah, is there any video of that? Do you guys have?
Ooh, I have to ask Masa.
You're gonna have to find that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to find her.
I'd love to see that. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some pictures, but I don't know. But they sang very well.
Yeah.
You know, I learned how to write katakana and hiragana, which is the syllables in Japanese. And I phonetically wrote out the words so that they could read it. You know, so it was a great learning experience there too.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you know, I think what is so cool about all that stuff is you've really spread your gift. You know, like you're not just somebody that just sang on a hit record or doesn't. You want to, you know, go out there and, you know, be with the people. Like you, I mean, just think of how much joy you brought in people over there. How you've spread all this great music.
Yeah, thank you. But
to other countries around the world, and you're still doing it, which is
have to share
awesome.
your gift, because if you want it to live on, somebody else has to know how to do it.
Totally.
If you're going to be stingy with it, there's no way in the world that we're going to keep this jazz or whatever kind of music it is alive.
Yeah, that's the right attitude to have, for sure. Like that's impressive.
Now, if I can find somebody to pay me,
yeah,
the way I need to be paid so I can keep my rent up, I'd be all right.
There you go. There you go.
It's scary sometimes when you have a lot of talents.
Yeah.
Because people want you to just have tunnel vision and stay in one thing. If I'm going to sing, just be a singer. Don't be a writer. If you're going to play, be a musician. Don't be a singer. You know, and because they can't do it. And I just kept saying, if I've been given these gifts, if they were born into me, if I was exposed to something to be able to do it, why shouldn't I?
Right. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people will have, like yourself, have a lot of interests. And they'll be known for doing one thing. And that's the thing that, you know, that people wind up wanting to hear. Or you know, it's very easy to get kind of, I guess, typecast, but kind of, and it's also something we do to ourselves, right?
Yes.
You know, like there's sometimes if you know that something always gets a good reaction, you
do it over and over. Yeah.
You do it. Yeah.
But the thing is like with acting.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same show every night, same dialogue. For me, the audience is a character in the play because we don't have a fourth wall. You know, I'm talking directly to the audience. So they're a part of the show, and how they react is how the show goes. And I have had some experiences where it got so crazy and ruckus with the play that I lost my voice for 2 days.
Wow, really? Wow, that's real life though, yeah.
Oh, but it was so much fun.
That sounds fun. That sounds really fun.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah. So I gotta say, one moment of the show, you're always stealing the show on PMJ Tour, and it's the moment that you do time after time.
Oh, I love that song.
And that was just one where, you know, I mean, you've been getting standing ovations every night. It's been, you know, it reaches people in such a powerful way.
Well, I had an experience with my nephew. My sister's oldest son had lung cancer. Yeah. And when I sing the song, I'm thinking about him because he passed away a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And every time I'm singing it, I'm thinking about those times, that time after time of watching him grow up and everything. And as I was saying about letting a song live, you have to put yourself into it. Yeah. If you're not doing it, then you're not singing. You're absolutely not singing. You're just making pretty little sounds over some chords. Yeah. You know, but...
Well, I mean, you definitely sing that one.
I feel it.
That's something else. Well, let's do that. And let's dedicate it to him, too.
Okay.
Right.
This is for Kadiri Senefera, also known as Aloysius, my pet name for him, and Charles Dobie Dobbs. Lying in my I hear the clock tick and think of you, caught up in circles. Confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights almost left behind. Suitcase of memories. Time after, sometimes you picture me. I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me. I can't hear what you said. Then you say, go slow. I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting time after time. After my picture fades and darkness has turned to gray, watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside. The drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look, you will find me time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting Yes, God. Then you say, go slow. I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting time. If you're lost, just find me, baby. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting time after time. Time after time. Time after time. Good dear.
Miche Braden, ladies and gentlemen.
That's my baby. I miss him so.
Yeah, that was amazing, and I think that's such a great way to honor somebody.
Oh yeah, he was a musician too.
Yeah.
He wrote raps. He wrote poetry. His fiance is a brilliant writer and a chef.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful chef too. And my sister, my brother-in-law plays drums. You know, it's just music. It's all around. And we've got to let it live again. I am so glad you're doing this. You know, bringing the jazz back.
Yeah, well, you know, it's finding people like you is just
Can you
inspiring.
give me a tissue?
Yeah, let's get you a tissue. That was wow. There's not a dry eye in this place right now. That was emotional. That was powerful.
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah.
When I'm singing. Because we had spoken not long before he passed away, November 2nd. And I'm just so glad he knew that I loved him, that we all did. I mean, there were like 30, 35 people at the hospital in the ICU, you know. But he went peacefully.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to sing. If you don't feel this stuff, then quit.
It's true. No,
be an Uber driver. You can make some money too, because.
But that, I mean, you know, I'm sure that he would have loved, you know.
Oh yeah, he wrote a song when he was like 6 years old called "I Love Jesus," and him and two of his cousins sang it, you know, at a family concert. And when he passed, I went back in the room and I started singing it with him, you know, singing it to him.
I'm sure. I know that you brought him so much joy. I'm sure. Just
he brought me joy too, because that was the closest I would have had to kids. My godchildren, my nephews and nieces, you know. Yeah. I don't know if you've had people crying on your
I mean,
podcast.
You know what? But I think this is beautiful. I think that's a beautiful thing. You know, you're giving people a real life moment, you know? And too much of what we see on social media is just a curated image, right?
Oh yeah.
We see people sharing just the good parts of their life.
The good parts, or showing stuff that is not uplifting. You know, I really want to just keep because the music has always been that thing that either lifts us up or brings us down, or just lives through us. Yeah. And the music I'm hearing today doesn't do that for me.
Yeah.
Very rarely. I had the pleasure of recording 2 songs on a CD by Galen McKinney. Her father and I worked together. And 2 of the songs that he wrote, I was able to sing on her CD. Yeah. And I don't hear music like that. The CD's called The New Beginning, and Galen McKinney doing the music of her father, Harold McKinney. And the songs are After the Sunset and Night Blues. Yeah. It is real jazz. I can't wait for you to hear them.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's out there, you know, and there's a real hunger for this kind of, you know, authentic music. And, you know, you're doing your part. You're doing so much just by, you know, keeping the tradition alive.
Yeah,
and I hope that everybody that, you know, is watching, you know, they get inspired to check out more of the things you've done and the people that have inspired you. And, you know, it's a powerful thing that we have a platform and that we're able to do that.
I tell you, PMJ is bringing real live performance back again. You know, as Casey says every night, we're not lip syncing.
Yeah.
You know, there's no auto tune. Yeah. If we mess up a note, it's messed up.
Yeah.
We just figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah. And it's not even about messing up notes. No, we don't even think about it. Like, you know, sometimes I think that's such a wrong thing when people say, like, oh, that's a messed up note.
Yeah.
No, in jazz, you take those mess ups and you make them into something.
Yes.
And just like life, you know, you take up something might go wrong in your life and you find a way to make it into something else, make it into something beautiful.
Yeah, mistakes have come out to be million sellers.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could just say what you were doing. You weren't expecting this.
Yeah, I put myself on the internet when I was just, you know, playing in a restaurant, and there was no rule book for. I mean, none of us have a rule book in life.
No, and I remember that apartment I did, Sweet Child of Mine, was smaller than this room. And now look where you are, You know, this is wonderful. And I've got 50 million ideas, you know.
Yeah.
And I've decided I'm going to do my thing.
Yeah.
And if people want to be a part of it, you know, I don't mind teaching.
Yeah.
And I don't mind sharing. But, you know, sometimes people want you to be in that pigeonhole thing. And I can't do that.
No, that's not
I
for you.
can't.
That's not for you. Well, I want to know, I want the people to know how they can follow you, you know. I'm going to tag you in this post and everything. You're on Facebook, you know.
Yes, I am, under my name, Miche Braden. And
Diva Out of Bounds.
Oh, that's
your...
my fan page. It's
okay.
Ms. Miche Braden.
So you can also
Diva Out of Bounds.
They can just find you on your personal page too.
Yeah.
She's accepting friend requests too. So be her friend.
Yeah, there's a Devil's Music, The Life and Blues of Bessie Smith page.
Yeah.
I also like to make dog clothing, so there's Rocky Dog Products and Xena too.
Amazing. I didn't even know you did that. That's so cool.
I love crafting.
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot of people that do music have another talent creatively. And that helps me when I don't want to do music all the time. So I'll crochet, I'll sew, you know, do a lot of things like that.
That's cool. Yeah, absolutely. That's and they can follow you also. You're on Instagram as well. I know that
yes,
you have
I am
Instagram.
Miss Miche Diva.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter.
We're gonna get you some.
I don't
more
know how to
posts on
use
YouTube,
them, but I'm on there.
She's there. But I mean, you know, like anything else, you guys can find her and
YouTube,
look up.
lots
You know,
of YouTube.
look up her YouTube clips. Devil's Music is the show with Bessie Smith. You know, and a lot of musicians watching. You know that. You know, Miche is a national treasure. You're one of those people that everybody can learn so much from. And I mean, I think you just gave us all like a master class today. You know, you told us, you know, about singing, what that means, and that's
all
a
it
real
is.
gift. And I'm so grateful that you're here today.
Thank you
to share that with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, Miche. Such a pleasure every time that I get to hang out with you and learn stuff
and I saw my room. I saw my room upstairs.
DFJ
so
Manor, yeah.
I'm going to take it. I don't mind sharing with Adam, you know.
There we go. Yeah. Adam's got a roommate, yeah. Amazing. All right, so cool. I guess we can just hit the record and then go live. But thanks, guys. And you can catch her tonight. Actually, you can see her on the rest of this tour.
Yes.
We'll be to Long Beach tonight, then Lancaster next.
Yes, and then we're going up to Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, there we go. All the party cities.
Yeah. I ain't partying, though. I let the kids do that.
Let the kids do that, yeah.